Hello and welcome back to Jules Math Tools, where math is made easy. In our session today, this is part 8 on using our fractions involving PEMDAS. And in this operation, we're working with our division and multiplication. And if you want to see how to solve this question, let's get started. In our session today, we are calculating a question using PEMDAS. And in this question, we're working with our division and multiplication rules. I must remind you is that when you're working with PEMDAS or BODMAS, BIDMAS, whichever version you will learn, there's one key rule you need to remember is that when there is division and multiplication in the same line together, we always work from left to right. So when you have questions like the ones that I have on the screen, if you have division first, that means you're going to work those operations from left to right, meaning my division will be worked before the multiplication. And that rule applies whether you were taught PEDMAS or PEMDAS. We always work from left to right. So because my division in this question comes first, I will be working out my 8/9 and then dividing it by 2/3 first. And remember that whenever we are dividing fraction, we always apply our keep, change, and flip rule, meaning my first fraction of 8/9 will remain the same. My division will be changed to multiplication, and we will take the reciprocal, or we will flip the second fraction where our denominator goes to the top and our numerator goes to our denominator. So now we're going to multiply, and remember that when multiplying fraction, we multiply numerator times numerator. So that means 8 times 3 will equal to 24. And then we will multiply our 9 times 2, which will equal to 18. Now what I'm going to do before I move any further, since my next step is multiplication, I'm going to reduce or simplify my fraction as much as I can before I return that back to my question. If you are somewhat familiar with the steps of simplifying your fraction, especially when you have to multiply afterwards, making your numbers a little bit smaller will make it easier for you in the multiplication process. But again, we must play to our strengths when we're working on these type of questions. And if you can simplify, simplify. If you're not able to simplify or you feel more comfortable leaving the fraction as is, then multiplying and simplifying everything afterwards, by all means, feel free to do that. But at the end of our question, we should all still arrive at the exact same answer. So now at this step, like I said, I'm going to simplify my fraction. So I need a common factor of 24 and 18. And because I know that 24 is in the 6th time table and 18 is also in the 6th time table, I will be dividing both of these numbers by 6. So 24 divided by 6 will equal to 4. And 18 divided by 6 will equal to 3. So now that I have simplified the fraction and made my numbers a lot smaller and easier to multiply with, I'm going to return my 4/3 back to my question. Now, I am aware that for some of you looking at my 4/3, you realize that this is an improper fraction. And you're probably thinking or wondering why I did not switch my improper fraction to a mixed fraction before I began my multiplication. Now, there's one thing you must remember is that whenever you are multiplying fractions and you have a mixed fraction, remember that you still will have to convert that mixed fraction back to an improper fraction form before you can multiply. So if you are reducing your fraction and you do get an improper fraction, leave the fraction as is, because either way, you will still have to convert it back to an improper fraction form. So now let's multiply. So we have 4 times 1, which will equal to 4, and 3 times 3, which equals to 9. And since both 4 and 9 do not have any common factors, this will be my answer in its simplest form. So remember, as always, get some additional practice in, and we'll see you right here in the next session on Jules Math Tools, where the aim is always to make math easy.